Gardeners, I'm out here in my garden and we're going to start our recipe outside today because what we need is some fresh basil. And so we're going to go right here to my garden, and oh, there's some luscious basil. We're just going to pinch this off, pinch this off. I need a lot of basil. And basil is one of those plants that you pinch it off and it just keeps on giving. So we'll take this in the house and I'll show you what I'm going to do with it. Okay, and as always, we are going to start with some olive oil in the bottom of the pan. Just a nice amount. I never measure it out. Recipes will tell you 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. Really, whatever you need to coat the bottom of your pan so nothing sticks to it. That's the purpose of the olive oil. And it really doesn't, in the end, matter unless you get too much in. But we're not going to do that. And then I'm going to take about half the onions. And we're just going to toss those in. And let this start sauteing. And about half the green pepper, half the red pepper. And we're going to let all of these saute down for a few minutes. Just give them a nice stir, and we will cook until the onion becomes translucent. And while the onions and peppers are sauteing, I'm just going to give these garlic bulbs a whack with the side of my knife. And this is an easy way to peel garlic. If you've never peeled garlic or you're intimidated by garlic, I also have a nice garlic press that doesn't require the garlic to be peeled. But this time, and especially since everything gets blended up at the end, I'm just going to toss the garlic in chunks. I really smash these up, but that doesn't matter. I'm trying to sprout on me. And we'll just throw these in to the pot and let them saute up a little bit as well. And we'll give it a good stir here. Bring the camera up here so you can really see into the pot. Doesn't that look delicious already? And now that our onions are nice and translucent, starting to take on a little bit of a caramelization, I'm just going to dump that and give the pan a good shake. Make sure everything gets out because we don't want to add any water to it. Do the same with this pan. Ooh, look how nice and plump those Roma tomatoes are. And this is an instant boil, so we're going to take this down to low. I grew up cooking on gas, so even today, after 30 years of cooking on an electric stove, I sometimes find it hard to get used to the temperature differences. You can't control the temperature on an electric stove quite as quickly as you can on a gas stove. Okay, so now we're going to add the oregano and the rosemary, and we're going to add the crushed red pepper, and I'm going to put a couple sprigs of this basil in just as it is. I love basil, so be nice and fresh. And when we put this all through an immersion blender, that basil and that garlic and everything else is going to blend up into a smooth tomato paste that we can then use on our pizza tonight. And it looks like there's going to be a ton left over, so we may be having spaghetti and who knows what else. But we're just going to let this start to bubble, and then I'm going to put a lid on it and just let it sit here for a while we go and whip up the pizza crust. Okay, gardeners, it is immersion blender time. And I'm going to very carefully take this lid off. This lid weighs about 5 pounds just by itself, at least. I had to put it on my scale sometime and check it out for sure. Cast iron is very heavy, but it's also very durable. And I forgot to add some salt, so we're going to give a generous salting to it. And now we're going to let the magic happen. I love the immersion blender because that makes the hardest part of blending, getting back in the corner and plugging the immersion blender in. And I am getting splattered. But I still have this simmering, and I don't want it to stop simmering yet. So I'll turn off the camera and then I'll scream a few times for all the splatters. Don't worry, nothing happened. Just my left arm got tired of lifting it up, so I switched to my right. Oh yeah, I'm making a mess here. That's okay. I would have made a bigger mess had I tried to transfer all this to my blender. Ow! Okay, maybe I will scream on camera. All right, so now we have this nice thick bubbling sauce that is mostly pureed. And we're going to turn the heat off, and I'm going to stick the lid back on before everything is covered in the sauce, including the camera. So here we go. And we will come back to the sauce after it cools, and we'll make our pizza.